Hi, I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach, and this is the Organize Your Life podcast. I am passionate about organizing because it makes my clients' lives so much easier, more relaxed, and with more time to spend the way they want to. In every podcast in the show, I'll lay out a simple organizing concept, and I'll tell you why it's important. I'll also include an action step at the end so you can start practicing right away. My specialty is chunking down this big topic so it's not overwhelming. That's the concept for this podcast, which is based on my first book, 52 Simple Ways to Get Organized. The book is available on my website and on Amazon. I work with clients in person in the Berkeley, California area and via email and Skype, so you don't have to be local to me. Visit the Hire tab on my website or email me at claire@cluttercoach.net. If you like the show, please rate it and review it. To do that, go to my website, cluttercoach.net, and scroll down for the show notes. Each show notes post has a link to leave a review in iTunes. I would so appreciate that. Okay, on to the podcast. Hello, listeners. As of today, the podcast is moving to Thursdays. I was mostly publishing on Tuesday, but that's also, I've decided, my main blog posting day. So I'm going to spread out the content and move this one to Thursday. All right, that's taken care of. Today's podcast is based on Simple Way number 35, and it's called Boss Hat, Employee Hat. What does that mean? It means the boss and the employee have different roles and responsibilities. For effective decision-making, you have to take on both those roles, but not at the same time. This sounds like I'm talking about a work situation, but this is about any time you go from an idea to completion, at work or in your personal life. When you are conceiving an idea, then planning on how to do it, you're the boss. When you get to the point of diving in and getting it done, making it real, you're the employee. Even when you are at work and have an actual boss, you are still the boss of yourself. You still must manage your own time and prioritize and be self-directed. You need to be the boss and then be the employee. This means making decisions and then acting on them. These are two very distinct activities. Let me explain this further. It's an important concept that a lot of people get tripped up on. When you're thinking like a boss, you're brainstorming, strategizing, evaluating, and planning. However, when you're in employee mode, you're executing, doing, and completing. So you can also think of this as thinking versus doing. When you understand that they are different and need to be separate, you can alternate the two activities. They inform each other. The boss devises work for the employee based on the information that she's gathered. Then the employee does the work, and sometimes runs into snags because things have changed and evolved. Then it's back to the boss to reevaluate based on this new information, and the cycle continues. So there's back and forth, but not simultaneity. Here's what happens when you don't separate these operations. You start a bunch of tasks and you don't finish them because you keep deciding that something else is more important. Meaning that you begin in employee mode, but then you slip into boss mode, and then back and forth and back and forth. This usually happens if you don't trust that the boss has made good decisions. But remember, you are the boss and the employee. If you don't trust your own decisions, you can't be effective. You end up wasting time and ping-ponging and getting confused. In other cases, you don't get going at all because you can't make a decision about what to do next. With that lack of clarity, you can get sucked into taking action on something, anything, to feel productive, and not realize that your activity isn't goal-directed. This is important to pay attention to because it can sneak up on you. You know there's work to be done on a project, but if it's not obvious what the next step is, you'll put off starting and just do something else. Still, another possibility is that you rush into employee mode before the boss has finished outlining what needs to be done. This can happen when you're eager to get started and you seize on the task that you understand and you know you can do. But without more planning up front, you can discover, days into a project, that you've been spending time on the wrong things. People naturally seem to gravitate more toward being the boss or more toward being the employee. If you love coming up with new ideas, you're more the boss type. If you want to cut to the chase and just do it, you're more the employee type. It's important to know which is your proclivity, because then you can devote time to developing the other role. Because you got to do both. To do this, be mindful of what mode you're in at any given time. When you're the boss, you are researching and planning. You make the decisions. You write the list of tasks for your employee to do. When you're in employee mode, you go through the list and you just do the tasks. You don't redecide, you don't second guess, you don't even question them. You're in action mode and you will get so much more done this way. So, your action step this week, if you have a list that the boss made, just do the next task and trust that the boss is right. If you don't have your list yet, choose a time when you don't need to be in action mode to get into boss mode. And that's usually going to be before your day starts or when the workday is finished. Hey, thanks for listening. I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach. If you like the show, I'd love it if you'd leave a rating and review in iTunes. You can subscribe, too, so the podcast will be ready and waiting for you to listen to. The show is available on SoundCloud and Stitcher as well. You'll find the show notes on my blog at www.cluttercoach.net, and you can check out my store to find books I've written and books and products I recommend, and some freebies, too. I work with folks in their homes and offices to bust clutter and get them organized so they can stay that way easily. Get in touch and find out how I can help you. I'm in Berkeley, California, and you can reach me at claire@cluttercoach.net. Come back for more next week.